Welcome everyone to the Mind, Body, and Spirit podcast. I'm your host, Jareth Martinez, and we have a lovely guest today, Kristine Beyond. I met her last year at a community event, and we just vibed right away. We were taking photos, and just our spirits were so high together, and it was just a match. And
sister vibes instantly.
Sister vibes. And then a few days after I met you, I was flying out to Europe, and we wanted to collaborate. We wanted to connect, and we tried making it happen in Europe and in Bali, and it just wasn't working.
Yeah.
But here we are. It's because we were meant to do an in-person interview, huh?
And we were so okay with it not working out. There was a time when she called me and we tried and you couldn't hear me and the Wi-Fi was horrible, and we were so okay with it. We're it's meant to be.
Yeah.
Something better is to come.
Mm-hmm. And here we are. So I'm so grateful. I'm so excited. I know there's so many layers and textures and colors and experiences to your path that maybe your followers or mine have yet to discover. And I myself, I'm really excited to get to know you more as well and hear more of your story and where you come from and what makes you the beautiful being that you are today. So I would first want to know, how would you introduce yourself? I know there's so many layers to you. I would love for you to just take that time to introduce yourself.
Thank you for giving me the opportunity to introduce myself. I am a butterfly. So there you go. It's Kristine Beyond, the butterfly. No,
the butterfly.
I'm just kidding. And the only reason why I say that is because I literally have been experiencing being in a cocoon for most of my 20s. And now being a butterfly. So we're all a beautiful butterfly, either in our cocoon, coming out, or out already, and there's a reason why we're here together right now.
Yeah.
So Kristine Beyond. My last name is Beyond Lillo, and so I go by Beyond, just because it's easier, right?
Mm-hmm.
Growing up, a lot of people, and still to this day, don't know how to pronounce my last name. It's 11 letters and 5 syllables. It's intense. Mm-hmm. So Kristine Beyond, that's it.
I love that, and I love how you just started off with the butterfly, talking about the butterfly, because I feel and then connecting that with your 20s and the cocoon. And do you feel right now you're in that flying butterfly season?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so I feel there's one more, there's a little leg still in the cocoon, and it's about to completely fly tomorrow probably.
Oh yeah, you're ready.
Yeah.
I would love to know more about your 20s. So how old are you now?
I'm about to be 3'3".
3'3". That's a powerful number.
Yeah.
Wow, and you're such a young soul too, and you are young as well.
Yeah.
So I would love to know more, because I feel your 20s, your stories of your 20s, I really would love to know more about that, and what, and maybe as we get deeper into the interview, I want to know more what advice you would give to people in their 20s that are trying to figure it out and find their way, especially in LA, or just or just in general, just figuring their lives out, because I think we're all connected, even if you're part of a whole different part of the world. We're all going through things as a collective, as a whole.
Yeah.
So please share with me what your 20s look like.
Well, I will share with you what my 20s looked like, and also what I would tell someone. First of all, what I would tell youngsters, or even people who are older, and just people in general, is hang in there. Honestly, you could watch as many Tony Robbins videos and Ed Milet videos and Jay Shetty and be inspired, but really at the end of the day, you're going to decide when you're going to do your work. And so thank you for listening to this, and I commend you for going through whatever you're going through, and just know that all of this is divine timing, perfect timing. So I would just say that is, when you're going to spread your wings, and that's going to be when you decide. So keep staying in your space, and keep healing, and keep growing, and just keep nourishing yourself, and feel whatever you're feeling, and just be in that and be present. In my 20s, It was a lot of being in my cocoon.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't go out that much. I moved in with my great uncle, who shortly after I moved in with him got sick with prostate cancer and couldn't walk. So my father and I had to take care of him. We were his caretaker. I made him food. I just hung out with him, and we, had to literally take care of him, change him, change his bed, his diaper. Like, it was really intense for me because my uncle was basically all I had.
Mm-hmm.
My parents didn't really support me, but also I've learned I wouldn't be who I am today if it wasn't for my parents. So thank you, Mom and Dad. And it's like, now that I'm like this butterfly, I'm like, yeah, if it wasn't for my parents, I wouldn't be who I am today. But living with my uncle, it meant so much to me because he would support me in singing. He was like, you go girl. Like, I never had that, and I had that with him. And then he got sick. He passed away a year and a half later. So I lived in a house, family owned, in East LA by myself for 5 years.
Wow. Front
yard, backyard, basement, like 3-bedroom, 2-bathroom, by myself. No community, no family. I was staying away from my family because always getting triggered by Mom and Dad. So it was a lot. I worked a lot at, different restaurants. I became vegan, started working at Cafe Gratitude, then the Springs, an all plant-based raw vegan restaurant. So that was really nice, and just didn't have that community and didn't go out as much, and really just reflected on what I'm doing wrong instead of what I'm doing right. So that was like in all of my 20s.
Wow.
Yeah.
So singing, I have yet to hear you sing.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm curious what that journey looked like for you, your journey of singing and expressing, and are you still singing today?
I am actually singing more than ever right now, today. And for years, like I said, in my 20s, I closed my throat chakra. I didn't speak, I didn't share, I didn't sing because of fear, because of whatever I was going through. I was involved in a beautiful music group, connected to amazing people in Hollywood. I had met Corey Feldman. He was, if you guys don't know who he was really, really well known as a child, a famous 80s child actor. And I had backup sang for him at the Whiskey Go-Go, and through him met a lot of people in the industry. A lot of people connected to Black Eyed Peas, because Black Eyed Peas is from here, LA.
Wow.
And I was always going to the studio, and was very quiet, had a lot of fear, and just kind of watched everyone, the way they worked, but there was always something missing, and I always wish I could have. I don't wish anything anymore, but back then I was like, man, I wish I could just get up there and sing, and I had everything in the palm of my hands, and I let fear always win. Always win.
Wow.
So, I look back at that now, and it's like, no, that's my story. I can't anymore have regret. Yeah. So, went through all of that with the music industry and not sharing my voice and having fear, and then realizing that the time is now. If I don't start my channel, if I don't sing, if I don't, do this and that, it may never happen. So starting, at the right time is so beautiful, and you'll know when you're ready to start spreading your wings. You will know, trust me.
Wow. So it sounds like you had so many resources surrounding you, and you had the opportunity to tap into what was in front of you, but it sounds like fear let go in the way. Do you think maybe self-sabotage, all the things, and then do you feel where did this fear really come from? Were you comparing yourself a lot? Did you feel like you weren't good enough? Did you not believe in your voice? Mm-hmm. All of the things.
Yes. Yeah. Wow. All of that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I'm not good enough. Mm-hmm. They're gonna laugh at me. I suck. Mm-hmm. my parents never supported me. I never had support. I this, I that. I don't have support. No one cares. I'll do it later. Just all of that ego talk, you know? Our ego is our amigo. At the end of the day, we need to learn how to love our ego, because our ego is just our inner child protecting us. Don't do that. People are going to laugh at you. Don't be in that relationship. You're going to get hurt. Don't do this. Buy that watch so that you can look like you're worth so much money. It's just that inner child literally protecting us. And finally just started saying, you're going to sit. Okay, Kiki. Kiki was my name growing up my whole life. My whole life I went by Kiki. From the moment I was born up until I like graduated high school. And even like my whole family calls me that. And, you know, people I grew up with and growing up, just everyone calls me that. So telling her, hey, you know what? You're going to sit in the back seat today. Yeah. We're going to do what I want to do. So yeah, learning how to surrender. And on the other end of all that fear is the biggest breakthrough, is your life waiting for you.
Right. Yeah. And like having that time, like having a house, an entire house to live in for 5 years by yourself. And then it's like you said, it's 3 rooms. Like you would imagine that, you know, this would be a house filled with people and all the things. Like, what do you feel was preventing you from like having that space to be like community and inviting, like, you know, that having that environment that you so deeply wanted, you know?
My daddy, he was my landlord, you know, it's family owned. So all the Italians lived there. My dad's Italian, and they all lived there, and they all, you know, got old and died off. And my great uncle was the last old one in the family to pass. So I was there, and God wanted me to live there, and I was living there. And my parents are very, very, very old school. Let's just be
how old are your parents?
Honest. My dad is 82 or 83.
Wow.
My mom is 10 years younger. She's like 72.
Wow.
And did not have a good relationship with really like my mom. My dad's a very cool guy, also very old school. So I'm going to be straight up honest. My mom has a lot of narcissistic personality. Yeah. And I forget the question, but so my father would just come over unannounced, and if I was chilling on the couch resting, he'd be like, what are you doing? Get up, work hard. So just never felt worthy. I couldn't move anything around. He would get, you know, bothered by that because it was his whole family's house. So for him, he grew up there since he was 4 years old. Wow. So for him, I couldn't, you know, throw away that old furniture or rearrange or paint because I would have to ask him, and then he would say, no, move out. He'd always be like, move out.
Wow. So it never really fully felt like home. Never
did. There was always fear. There was, you know, didn't feel comfortable having guys over. So I was free, but I wasn't fully free.
Is that what made you feel like you were in the cocoon for your 20s?
Yeah, that played a huge role. My dad coming over and not accepting me for who I am, and just a lot of me not feeling free, you know? But like I said, it was all the journey within itself. And if maybe I had the mindset that I have now, I probably would have really fucking enjoyed that space so much more. And I was literally just that little girl coming out of that ego, coming out of that wounded little girl. And, you know, my dad would trigger me, and I was, you know, in my cocoon back then. And I got with my ex-boyfriend, and that ended up being, the first year was great, but after that ended up being really, 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 really toxic. Toxic. So it was like, I'm living here, I have a boyfriend, it's really toxic, and I'm just not really that happy in my life. And a lot of it was just a lot of different types of low vibrational energy, for sure.
So like all of these experiences really brought to a lot of lessons, obviously.
A lot of lessons
that you had to go through.
And then when the pandemic hit, about 2 months before the pandemic, I realized that my only social life was work.
Wow.
And I was like, I need to get out there. I need to go have fun. I want to do me, go have fun. I was, single. I'm single. And then...
She's single, everyone.
Yes. And it's awesome. Inner work is amazing, you guys. Be happy you're single and just enjoy the whole journey. Because whoever is meant to be in your life is going to come, and you have to just have that trust. Mm-hmm. Trust me. Because you're not in control. We think we're in control, but we're not.
We're really not.
Our only job is to literally just have fun and enjoy life. And we make it so hard.
Yeah.
But anyways, pandemic hit. I moved out. Finally moved out. That was nice, moving out. It was really cool. I moved into Monrovia, city in LA County called Monrovia. And lived with girls for the first time ever. Had roommates for the first time. I had roommates when I was 23, but that was for 3 months. And that was an amazing quick chapter in my life. And then that's when I moved in with my great uncle. Pandemic hit, moved in with roommates, and then that's when I started slowly becoming started coming out of my cocoon. Ooh. And here I am now.
So you said you lived with women for the first time ever, so you don't have any sisters?
I have 2 sisters and 3 brothers. I'm the baby out of quite a few.
Wow.
Yeah, and they're all older. So really I grew up with my sister who's 4 years older. And
wow.
I had a half brother, half sister who are in their 50s.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
My dad, he's 82, so he was married before he met my mom. And what else? Yeah, I have 2 brothers from my mom and dad, and they're 16, 17 years older. Mm-hmm. So growing up, there was a lot of stuff that I witnessed. A lot. Like I said, my parents are old school, and then you have these teenager boys who are experiencing with drugs, and they love smoking weed, and I'm the baby, so I just remember witnessing a lot of fights, a lot of energy, low vibrational energy that went on in my household my whole life. I saw my mom treat my dad with so much resentment, so much anger, and that affected me. I started manifesting men in my life who I would fight, who I would act like my mom, because that's what I saw, that's what I knew, I expressed myself in an angry way, and I wasn't happy, and just learning now how to do all the healing work so that I can call in these beautiful people in my life, not just a relationship with a guy, but people like you, manifesting, calling in, praying for, being blessed with amazing people in my life is such a big thing for me, and that's why I really, truly love my community and love what I'm doing now. I've grown so much, and I have a beautiful relationship now with my brother.
Good.
One of them we don't really talk to, but my other sister I'm great with. I'm cool with everyone now, so it's been nice to grow with everybody.
Good. Wow.
Yeah. And it's cool to hang out with my mom now. I still keep my distance, but I'll see her because I'll drop off my doggy and see her, and it's really nice.
Oh, that's good. And I see you today, that you are just this really butterfly, just really in your gifts and really in your service, and you're very devoted to just shining light and making a new way for the collective. I really see you putting in the work on top of all the other things that you're doing, and so it's really inspiring, just the amount of energy that you're putting out and then receiving. It's this beautiful flow, and then also and then before you got to this place, though, you went through deep solitude, deep cocoon, and I want to talk about that because
yes. Let's do it.
I went through that myself as well. I feel growing up as a child, I always really felt so alone. Not necessarily because I was, but I just felt so alone. And I spent a lot of time alone. And for example, summer school or summertime, a lot of children now, as I'm older and I'm witnessing how other families live, and they, just their process of family and all the things is their children in the summertime, they'll go to summer camp or they'll do this or do that. But my parents, they had to work. And so it was you have to be home all day with your sister. Your big sister is going to take care of you. She was the person that would take care of me. So it was summer is just like not involved in any type of sports or anything like that. I would just sit in my sorrow, basically sit in sadness, and not necessarily all the time, because I lived like in community space as well, but it was really hurtful because I didn't live in a really healthy community environment as well, because I ended up like being just, there was just a lot of hurt that involved in that. It wasn't like the safest community, you could say, and it wasn't like the most healthiest community of a place to live. And it made sense on why my parents would be like, you can't go outside, you have to stay, while we're working, you have to be home, and your big sister's going to take care of you. And, you know, not being in school, not doing anything, not really having anything to play with or do or anything is just all I, like, honestly, if I'm being honest, like, what I would do is just, like, eat, like, with my sister. Me and my older sister would just eat, like, just be home and eat. And I just, on top of all of that, I felt really bad about my body, and I felt really bad about myself.
Same.
And
Same.
and
I'll
then
leave below.
And then when it was time to go back to school, you know, like, I didn't feel vibrant and glowing, and like, I made the best of my summer. And it wasn't, I don't want to say that was my summer all the time and that was how my life was all the time, because there was moments of like, you know, like, oh, like, let's go like to a water park with my cousins, or let's go here for the summer, do this. But there was a lot of solitude as well, is I guess what I wanted to say, resonate. So yeah, and then when 2020 hit, I was just like, I was living with my sister, and she was the only person I was really talking to. Other than that, I was like home, and I wasn't spending like any time out. I was just like literally in the quarantine life for a really, really long time. Even when people were still out and about, after, like, people at first were like, you must stay home. Oh, hell no. What are you doing outside? You know? And then there came a time where it's like people were still going out.
Yeah.
And I still decided to stay in. Like, I just was so accustomed and used to being home. But then I made the decision to, like, fucking leave and live in Hawaii for 6 months, and my life changed completely. So that was my breaking point of, like, releasing the solitude and just, like, letting myself fly and meet new people and, like, totally expand into witnessing my gifts and meeting soul family for the first time ever. Ever, like, really soul family. And so, wow, what a journey it has been. I'm wondering how that happened for you.
So my pivotal moment.
Yeah.
So I finally got out of the house and felt completely free, you know, didn't have someone older telling me how to live my life and what I should do and what I shouldn't do, and all of that just really truly affecting me. When the pandemic hit and I moved in with the girls, and it was beautiful. I had a balcony and paid $600 a month for that. It was kind of scary too, because it was right when the pandemic, you know, hit, and I wasn't really working. So I was like, how am I going to do this? But just, you know, there's always a way out. Like, honestly, like, we fear so much, but, like, honestly, like, just trusting in the universe, in source, in what's meant to be, and money comes. Trust me. Like, I've experienced that so many different times where I was like, oh no, and then, like, something happens, and yeah, that's just, I lived there for a year and 4 months or 6 months. So I would see my old roommates hop on Zoom calls, work from home, this and that, and I was like, wow, like, they have community. And still at the time, they were basically like my community. We would have karaoke nights. It was a lot of fun living there. So healing in so many different ways. And I was like, I want that. I want to work from home. Like, I want to have community and hop on Zoom calls. And before I knew it, literally, I think the next night I was on Instagram, and this guy went live on Instagram, Certified Health Nut, Troy Casey. Shout out to Troy. He's pretty well known on social media, so check him out. And he was just like, yeah, man, if you guys want to work from home, message me. And I was like, okay, I trust this guy. He does breath work. He's like this hippie looking, interesting looking man who's a father and just does all these things and, eats healthy and juices and all these things, right? And I'm into juicing. Like I said, I think when I was 25 was when I went vegan, and it's been like a beautiful journey, that whole experience. It's been like 7 years. I want to say almost 8 years. I'm not too sure. Can't do math right now, but so I messaged him and he connected me to his assistant and I joined the business. And before you knew, I was a part of a beautiful community. We were into health, we were into juicing, we were into helping people get healthy, doing the 30-day cleanses. So that's how it all began. And then that in the beginning of last year, 2021, literally in January, I went to the beach. It was like January 2nd, like 2 days or a day after New Year's Eve, the new day. And I went by myself. I lit a candle and I had my cards with me. And I just was putting my hands in the sand and I was like, I want community. I want friends. I want to grow. I want to transform. I was with my doggy. I wrote a letter. I lit it on fire and just was praying and connecting to earth element and the air and water, and had my stones with me. I am not kidding you. A week later, I got invited to a cacao ceremony in Calabasas. Changed my whole entire life, and that was a year ago.
Wow.
A year and a month ago. Met my whole community that I'm still involved with till this day. We all met each other at the same time. And all of last year, tapped into breath work. I went to it was my second breath work class. It was an integration circle. Changed my life. Realized I had all these blockages around money and I was crying. And then the second time I went, I was like, I want to let go of my ego. And powerful. We were doing intense breathing for an hour straight. Everyone in the room was screaming and crying. And I was and then after that we shared for over an hour. Everyone shared their experience. And I was I could do this in LA. And started leading breathwork events.
Wow.
And my first event, I had over 40 people come. It was in downtown LA at a beautiful studio. The lady who, owns the studio was just throw an event here. And I was really? Okay. Usually that costs a lot of money. She's just yeah, just come here and throw an event. And it changed people's lives. So I was I love this. I want to continue doing this. And started leading guided meditations, and even just the community that, I'm blessed in, do things like hot bay and heal and grow and transform. And I'm oh my God, I'm not the only one that wants to do all these amazing things. And of course not. That's why I called it in. And yeah, cacao and all these events. And, Bhakti, she's in Beverly Hills. She leads amazing classes in Kundalini yoga. So literally last year was kind of a really big and important year of my life.
Wow.
That's when I was getting out of my cocoon like this. It was the beginning of the pandemic when I had my roommates okay. I was moving in the cocoon let's go. And then 2021 I was coming out, and then now I'm I have one more leg in there, and I'm here we are. I just started my podcast the other day. We're doing this. So I'm telling you, it's always a continuation, always forever evolving.
That is unbelievable to know that this really began for you a year ago, because you're literally just this is the thing that you talked about in the beginning, was you had all these resources in front of you, you had all of these opportunities always. And then it's the fear got in the way. And this time around, these opportunities, when you went to the event in Calabasas, it was presented to you, and you just fucking dove and swam and let your gifts shine. And that is so powerful, because a lot of people think many things. It could be I'm not ready, it's too soon, I don't I'm not educated enough, I'm not this enough, I'm not that enough. And it's honestly just what we allow ourselves to think. I remember when I went to get yoga certified in India, and then I was presented literally presented the opportunity to start teaching right after right when I flew back from from India, and it was just like, I was like, wow, I feel like I'm being disrespectful. There's a lot of yogi teachers that have been, practicing for years before they started teaching, and I just got certified. But it's like, I dove right in, and I said, yeah, like, I talked to different yoga teachers, and I was like, do you think I'm disrespectful for teaching yoga right away after getting, and some said yes, like, some were like, honestly, I feel like that's disrespectful towards me or just to the community, because we've been doing this forever. Or there other teachers were like, yo, please do it, like, we need you, we want you,
yeah,
we need more of you, and we're okay with them. I give you all my support. And it was like this thing where I was like, you know what, I'm just gonna go. Like, if an opportunity is in front of you, don't like let that pass you by because of fear or doubt or other people's opinions. Just like literally fully trust. And I feel like you just were like, okay, I'm gonna facilitate. Like, you're constantly like in your services and in your offerings. And I think that's like what a lot of people are fearful of. And you went through that in the past when you had like Black Eyed Peas opportunity, like all of these things. Like, it's unbelievable. And it's honestly like I feel like you're just like, you know what, I'm like done saying no to opportunities. I'm just gonna say yes. And so how did you break free from, like, how did you really just say, you know what, I'm gonna be like showing up time after time after time? Because a lot of people can get in their heads,
Yeah, I think once, and thank you for sharing all of that, that's so beautiful. I think once I got out of the space that I was in with the house and the father who didn't support me, and it's very, 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 very important to know that the people in your life support you, and if they don't, just try your hardest to, because I get it, some people still live with, they're young, they live with their family, they live with their parents, and maybe some parents, like my parents were really old school, and it was like, no, I want you to do this, this, and that, and get married, and all these things, right? It's very important who is your top 5 people who you're surrounding yourself with. And not only was I super lonely, but I had someone coming over and kind of judging me and the things that I would do. And if I did this, it was like, why are you doing that? Take off this makeup. And I love my father. I want to make that so clear. And like I said in the beginning, if it wasn't for my parents, I would not be who I am today. And right now is the perfect moment. Every journey, every experience is perfect. And I have a beautiful, beautiful relationship with my father.
Good.
My parents have a very toxic relationship. And he would bring that over to my household.
Yeah.
And so I honor my father for going through till this day what he goes through with my mother. And that's their thing. And I used to always try to fix them. I used to always try to be there to support them. But comes a point where you have to break away from being in a toxic relationship, being in a karmic bond, being with any friend who is telling you can't do this and you can't do that and you shouldn't do this. That's step 1.
Yeah.
And also when you're in it, just really like, okay, like I'm going to go to the library today. I'm going to stay out and really just, with the roommates, if you don't get along with someone, just really putting yourself first. And I hold myself accountable for that because in my 20s, I didn't do that. So that was my thing I had to do. And it was to that day where I was like, I want to change. I want community. I want this. I want that. I went to the beach. I lit candles. I prayed. I did this. I had never done that before. What the fuck? Going to the beach and like being by myself and like meditating and praying. And it was that point where God said, okay, like your wish is my command. That's how easy it is. That's literally how easy it is. But imagine if I just went to the beach, called in all this stuff, and then my friend invited me to a cacao ceremony and I'm like, nah, I'm depressed. I'm going to stay home and eat popcorn all night long and ice cream and watch a movie because my life sucks. So it's like getting rid of like all that stuff that's like bringing you down, number 1.
Yeah.
Number 2, calling it in. And number 3, taking action. Action. Yeah, like even in the Bible, everyone had to take action when God was like, make this or that. of course, they had it. I don't know much about the Bible, but it's written everywhere. People had to work for what they wanted, and then you're blessed. Call it manifestation. Call it being blessed. It's all the same difference. When you're putting the work into it, you are gonna be blessed. You're gonna call it in more. You're gonna keep manifesting what you truly desire, and that's what it is releasing those people lovingly. Like I said, I have a beautiful relationship with my dad. Lovingly, just letting them go and moving out or doing whatever, like what I did. I moved out. I'm not saying move out, but like just releasing these people, the karmic bonds, and being surrounded in good environments where now you want to feel good. Now you feel free to do these things, calling it in and then taking the action. Like I said yes to the cacao ceremony, and it was that one night that changed my whole entire life. And I haven't had community like that since high school.
Wow, that's so beautiful, Kristine. And I feel like, wow, it's like just the beginning, and I feel like there's still so much more that is unfolding as you're in this place of inspiration and just taking action, because I feel like we can get so stagnant and in this frequency of like being in a rut. And it's so easy to just stay there. It's so easy to just be like, you know what, I'm just gonna live with my parents forever. You know what, there's nothing better for me. You know what, I'm just gonna live in my car, or like I'm just gonna like, you know what I mean? Like just thinking the lowest the lowest frequency options for you. Like I'll just settle with this guy that like beats me or whatever. I'll just like, keep these friends because I can't find any other friends. You know what I mean? Like, it's just like, why would we even think those options for ourselves? There's so much out there. There's so much opportunity. And it takes a leap of faith, to just be like, you know what? I'm going to go for it. I'm going to try it. I'm going to do it. And then it fucking works, right? It just works. Somehow it works. Like, it just all unfolds. Somehow, like... Yeah, I think you're just rewarded by just doing it.
You know, since the moment you're born, you know what you want to do and who you want to be. And I know there's a lot of people out there who don't know what they want to do. And, it's all conditioning. And, like, my girlfriend just, like, the other day, like, yesterday, I think she was just like, oh, like, she wants to get into coaching. And then yesterday she was explaining to me that, like, she's just confused and she doesn't know what she wants to do. And I replied back and said, oh, you know. And every day, just doing a little bit of something to align yourself to that energy, even if it's 5 minutes, 6 minutes, 2 minutes, as long as you're doing something every day to get there, that's what matters. It's all about the journey.
Yeah.
It's all about the journey.
It's all about the journey.
And loving it all. Like, I love saying now that I was in my cocoon in my 20s, like what? Like, like let's not be so hard on ourselves. Honor every chapter of your life and know that everything is temporary. Like, right? Like nothing stays the same.
Yeah.
Everything is always changing.
Yeah.
Honoring that and knowing that you wouldn't be who you are today if it wasn't for that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think there's a huge level of bravery to just be like completely real and be like, like this is what it was for me. I think a lot of times we feel this pressure of like making our lives look a certain way or look presentable or perfect for those around us or for people. But honestly, like, if it's not coming from truth, like, you're not going to go anywhere. You're not going to go anywhere because you're not being real about what's really happening. And even if it's like fucking, like, it doesn't sound amazing, but it's like your truth. I feel like people will really appreciate the level of like authenticity and realness, and like, people can relate as well, like, because no one's perfect. And I feel like we were talking about earlier, I feel like perfection was the trend, and so many people were hopping on that wave of like getting that perfect Instagram photo, that like like sharing that perfect life, showing that perfect life, like vlogging your life and showing how perfect it is and how like aesthetically pleasing it is and all the things, which that is still amazing. But like what I'm really appreciating is that now what you see as a trend, like people are like getting on podcasts and like being fucking real about what's really happening, and just being really real and like showing their like on Instagram or reels, like you'll see people showing their like love handles or their pimples, and like this is what real human is, or like their body hairs, their armpits hairs, or whatever. It's like, fuck yes, we want that, we desire that. And that is honestly, I think that makes me really excited to know that people are really stepping into this level of like fucking actually ripping off the masks. Since 2020, we're literally being told to wear a mask. Worldwide, wear a mask.
And the thing is, too, bouncing off of what you just said about the whole, like, you know, a couple years back or last year, it was all about looking good and posting good Instagram pics, and now it's all about being vulnerable and sharing, like, what we went through, and like really showing like the hair on our face, and you know, like just being raw and organic and natural, and that's so hot and sexy now. We forget how connected we all are.
Yeah,
we are all going through the same thing in different ways,
and no one wants to talk about it.
We are all going through the same shit in different ways.
And no one wants to talk about it. Fucking talk about it. Let's talk about it. Let's really talk about it, because we're all going, like you said, we're all going through it.
Yeah,
it's like no one wants to be like, yo, I'm going through some shit. Or at least they'll say it, maybe no one wants to talk about it on social media, but like that's a big chunk of where people put their time into is social media. A lot of people invest their time and energy, or just like spend time on social media, and if you're constantly just seeing perfection, that could really like have a disalignment with your energy, because you're just constantly comparing and thinking something's wrong with you. So it's like, if you want to be real, please be real in person and on social media. Because then we'll be like, okay, we really are all going through it.
We're all
it brings us to that.
Yeah. And everyone can inspire someone. You know, that's my thing, and that's why I wanted to start my podcast, and it took me years to start it. And the fact that I recorded my first episode and it's like a 5-minute introduction was huge for me, you know. So just really accepting who you are in this moment and holding your heart and knowing that there's so much support out there, like even if it's YouTubing someone or listening to a certain podcast, like just do the work, because it's so worth it. And I was telling my good friend Matt, today is his birthday.
Happy birthday, Matt.
Happy birthday, Matt. And he turned 25 today, I think. And I said, I wish, like, I had someone when I was 25 telling me what I'm telling you. And so, yeah, the sooner, the better. Like, we need you now. Now is a beautiful time to make a beautiful shift and to truly call in what you truly desire and to truly just be in your heart space. Because as much as I'm saying I was in my cocoon, I was in my 20s, I went through so much, yeah, that took a toll. And if I could help anyone, I will. And the time is now. And to live in full alignment with you and what you want to do is where the ecstasy and the orgasmic just energy starts happening. And I just want people to live in that, you know. And we went through what we went through so that we could share with people, and younger people and older people and people our age, like, life is now. Life is beautiful, and where you are at right now is perfect. And I'm here to support you because I love you and I love the planet that we live on. And there's a lot going on right now, right, with just the war and the wars and eating unhealthy and our planet and this and that and all the things on the news that are scaring us.
Yeah.
So we need more people who are coming from our heart space and being authentic and sharing life, like in a loving, beautiful, healing way is like so vital, so important right now.
Yeah, totally. Like, I'm turning 27 on April 1st, and there's a part of me that's like, wow, I'm turning 27 and I don't have it all figured out. And it's just like, please, just what I have to tell myself and I want to say too is like, trust your timeline. Like, there's genuinely people that have gotten really started when they're like 50, 60. I don't know.
Louise Hay. I don't know if you guys know who Louise Hay is, but she's amazing. I listen to her night meditations. She's amazing. Louise Hay. She started in her 70s. Wrote a book, did everything. Like, super
That's
well known.
amazing.
She's already passed on to the other side, but started when she was 70.
Yeah. And it's like, do we want to get to that point though? It's like, just fucking start now. Let's do it. Let's get it.
Pray,
but that's
like,
fucking beautiful.
Move around, heal. Like, you know, you get to do the work. And that's such a blessing.
Yeah, it's a blessing. It's a privilege.
Yeah.
It's a privilege to be able to wake up and be able to do the work.
Yeah. And like, you know, like for me, I've really been transforming. I have a beautiful coach, you know, he's Matt Schaefer. He's a YouTuber. I reached out to him and started taking his course and have been listening to his videos. So I think it is really important to have like a coach or some, like a mentor or somebody, even if it's, like I said, a YouTuber, someone you like to listen to, there's podcasts, whatever it is, like all of that is so important because we are conditioned to talk down on ourselves and to sleep in and to wake up feeling depressed and eat bad and, oh, I really don't want that donut, but then you end up eating that donut and then you feel like shit and then all the, like, just the low vibrational stuff. But when you're really just surrounding yourself with like so much positive energy, it literally is so healing, and it takes time, but we must continue to keep doing the healing work.
Yeah. There's layers, and it's okay for it to, you know, I was really feeling a few days ago like, oh, there's just too much wrong with me. Like, the traumas are too deep. The layers are just so, like, I just, you know, and it's just like, it's okay. We all have deep layers. And as you think, like, there are moments where you're like, wow, I did so much work. Like, I'm there. And then, like, more unfolds. And it's like, okay, like, literally love it all. Love it all. Mm-hmm. It's there for a reason. And so your podcast, the Beyond Podcast or Beyond Podcast?
Whatever sounds better. The maybe Beyond. Like I said in my first episode, I'm open to Beyond. Podcast came to me just like Breathe Beyond. So, like, you know, I lead breath work. So it's Breathe Beyond. I feel like it just all came to me.
Yeah, it's
literally
perfect.
Life comes to you. I am not kidding. I did not ever see myself being a breathwork facilitator ever in my life. Anyways, back to what we were talking about is, yes, it's Beyond Podcast. I am still open to a new name, but Beyond is just kind of like, it's already explained so much. Beyond.
That's it.
Yeah.
Sorry, it got to 30, so I need to do it. So what should people expect on your podcast? Like, what kind of things are you going to dive into?
Everything. Yeah, everything. So, I literally feel like it's going to be my diary. I'm going to talk about all the things I struggle with on a daily basis, the things I celebrate on a daily basis. I'm going to have relationships, the men I've dated, karmic bonds on. I'm going to have, you know, people on like you on. I'm going to have my friend Dancing David on. You probably know who he is. He's dancing all over Venice Beach. I have a lot of different types of interesting friends, and talking about just, you know, the struggles and inspiration and motivation and dedication and all of the above. And I already know I'm gonna have so many breakthroughs. Like, I feel like my next episode is gonna be the title is gonna be I Fear Commitment. Because I started this channel now, right? I had my introduction, and after that I was like, wow, I'm kind of feeling like a fear of commitment, because now the whole world is knowing that I started something and I have to commit now, and how does that look? And I'm not used to committing because I was always just living life daily, freely, doing whatever. So how could I share? Okay, I have fear of commitment. Hey guys, it's Kristine Beyond. Like, I just wanted to share with you what's coming up for me. This is what's coming up for me. I'm having a breakthrough in this. I'm this. You know, today I like rescued my cat last night. Like, just like it's gonna be very raw.
Yeah.
Organic. Vulnerable. I'm gonna cry a lot because I cry.
And because you're gonna let yourself be fucking real. And
I'm probably gonna have people who I haven't talked to in years come on, and we're probably gonna do therapy together in front of the camera and cry and heal. It's gonna be a lot of healing, a lot of living life, literally like open diary. So stay tuned.
Yay!
All of it. Like, I'm just like, it is happening. Yeah.
I'm so excited to tune in and see how it all unfolds. And hey, we're all there with commitment. It's like once you, like you said, it's like when you get married, you're like, oh shit, I'm married now.
I just got married.
I'm a whole husband.
Yes,
and it's like, wow.
The new. It's just tapping into the new and fear of the unknown.
Yeah, but it's beautiful.
And it's beautiful. And it's going to be a beautiful journey. And when you just stay committed, like I already know it's going to grow beautifully. I already know organically, naturally, it's going to grow so much.
Non-GMO, no
without
pesticides.
me even like trying. Yeah, and that's the thing. It's like not trying. Like I'm sure there's going to be days where I'm going to hop on and not care to put makeup on and just be like, hey guys, I feel like shit today.
Please do that.
Who else does? Because I know we're all connected. If I'm feeling like shit, you're probably feeling like shit too. Let's go. Let's talk about it. Like, let's talk. Like, we are one. We are like unity connected. Like, we are the collective. Together we heal.
We are unity connected. We are the collective.
Yeah.
Wow.
And together we heal and we help heal the world.
That is a perfect way to end. That is so beautiful.
Yeah.
Thank you for sharing.
You're welcome. And I just want to bring up, like, for example, my whole cat situation last night. Like, a lot of people know I lost my cat last night, and she was gone for 24 hours. That had never happened in my life, in her life. I knew something was wrong. I posted it on Instagram. Please pray, you guys. Pray, pray, pray. I had friends call me. They were singing to me. They were singing mantras to me and all these beautiful things. And I ended up finding her inside a palm tree up high, like down the street from my house. And there was a pit bull that almost attacked me. And so I had to call the neighbors. They came with a flashlight. And it was like, yo, you guys helped me find her. You. I lit sage. I felt everyone's prayers. So knowing that together we will transform, we will change, we will heal the world as a collective.
As a collective, together we are all part of it. All of us. Yeah. And that's a wrap. Thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you so much, Kristine, for being here. I look forward to listening to your podcast, the Beyond Podcast. And yeah, where can people find you?
You can find me on Instagram, Kristine Beyond, Kristine with a K, Kristine, and Beyond, like Beyond Meat. Like Beyond Meat.
There it is.
And I'm on TikTok, Kristine Beyond, Facebook, Kristine Beyond DeLillo, but good luck trying to figure out how to spell my last name. I can spell it out. It's a long one. BIONDOLILLO.
Wow. Thank you. Thank you so much for tuning in, and thank you for being here.
I'm just so grateful that we are soul sisters.
Yeah.
And that we met.
For sure.
We're doing the work.
We're doing it.
Doing it.
Yes.
Love you all so much.
Bye.